Welcome to Pro Practice, your guide to piano mastery. I'm Josh Wright, and today's episode goes over Tchaikovsky's October. This is from a set of 12 pieces called The Seasons, Op.37, and these were written for a magazine with a new piece coming out each month titled after that month. So this is October. They also had little subtitles. This one's subtitle is called Autumn Song. The world is in peril right now with the coronavirus outbreak, so there is honestly no other piece I'd rather be making a tutorial on. This is dedicated to Elizabeth, who is in the Pro Practice Lifetime Access group. She asked if I could make a tutorial on this, and I've been performing this fairly recently over the last 6 months, and so I'm happy to be making this tutorial. I'm just going to go ahead and play a little bit, and then the tutorial is going to get into things like how to voice more effectively, how to get softer touch and better tone quality. Should I be using my soft pedal? Where should I be pedaling? And then a few redistribution tricks for some of those larger rolled chords or jumps that can be very awkward. I have a few tricks that can help with those as well. But let's start with playing. A little bit of hope. All right, so let's stop there. We will get through the whole piece today, but I sincerely want to thank Sergei Babayan, not only for all of the life lessons that he's taught me and lessons about piano, but for introducing me to this piece. One of the most special moments of my musical life. I still remember it. I don't remember the day. I don't remember what lesson it was in, but I remember him talking about tone quality, and he said, you have to think of something like this, and then he demonstrated, and I was captivated, and I said, what was that piece that you demonstrated from after the lesson? And he said, oh, it was Tchaikovsky's October. And so many years later, I read an interview that he gave that when he was a young boy, his father bought tickets for them to go see the Tchaikovsky International Piano Competition where Pletnev won. And so, and then Babayan later went on to study with Pletnev. So it's just an amazing kind of full circle type story about his experience with some Tchaikovsky pieces. And so I would highly recommend everybody go listen to Pletnev play this. Pletnev is how you spell his name. Real expert on pretty much everything, but especially I love his playing of Tchaikovsky. And I have developed a great love for Tchaikovsky character pieces, just shorter pieces like the Romance Opus 5, I think it's Opus 5. Go watch Sarah Danishpour play that, Daneshpour. I think I'm spelling that right. It's actually one of Babayan's students who played it in the Tchaikovsky competition not long ago. I think that may be one of the best recordings of anything I've ever heard. So there's a few recordings that stand out in my mind in that category. And I want you to, the reason I'm bringing all this up isn't just to chit chat at the beginning of this video, but rather to encourage you to engulf yourself in these pieces by great artists playing them. Don't just sit down and this is almost sight readable for someone who, or should be sight readable for someone who's an advanced pianist or close to sight readable. If you're an intermediate player, this is a great piece to work on. Even late beginner might be able to tackle this type of piece. There's a lot of voicing issues that might prove that to be difficult, but I want you to just immerse yourself, no matter what level you're at, in Tchaikovsky character pieces. So all of the seasons, the romance, a lot of his other short little pieces, like his transcriptions of the Nutcracker for piano, are very charming. So anyway, let's talk right away about voicing and tone quality. Okay, so voicing refers to bringing out your melody. So we're going to want to bring this out. And then less. So be thinking of shape as well. So maybe start a little bit bigger, and then shape means crescendos, diminuendos, how you shape the music, and then come down. So these chords, the softer and more velvety you can get them, the more that melody is just gonna float. Such special harmony. Come down a little there so that you have energy and momentum to grow to that dissonance. So this would be an example of a suspension. Okay? So if you're above your bass, that would be a 4-3 suspension. It's not being suspended, tied from the previous note, but it's reinforced. And composers, especially if you look all over Bach's music, he loves chains of suspensions, 4-3 suspensions, 7-6 suspensions, 9-8 suspensions. That's one of my favorite things in music, are these suspensions. Rather than going to there, you're going to go to there, and then less. So whenever you have suspensions, go to that. See, that's forming a dissonance with that. That's a 7-6 if you're thinking from the E. That's a 7th resolving to a 6th, or a 4 to a 3 if you're thinking above the bass. Okay. Now, here, that's like a little cell that's contained unto itself, those first 4 bars, and then this seems to be more pleading. And then it repeats itself, and I think the second one can take one of 2 options. I obviously was bigger on that one, so then the second one can be quite special. Throughout the piece, when this comes back, you can vary that so that maybe you like the first one to be softer and a little bit less assuming. And then the second one gains a little momentum. So big, and then a long diminuendo. Okay, now you see those in that bar. There are a bunch of accents. 1, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. And a lot of people just interpret them that way. A lot of students I've taught, and I would urge you to think of those. Accents don't always have to mean play louder. They can also mean an accent in time. You can do both as well, so a little more, less, more, less. But I think it's a little bit disorienting if you go too loud on those, so be careful. And then a lot of people kind of kill their trills. They always kind of do this big motion with them. And make sure you count that right. 3 and 4 and 1. For a lot of years, I just kind of skipped over that triplet when I was teaching this. I'd go 1, 2, 4 and 1. It's 4 and 1. And then, such gorgeous writing. I love it. So simple, but the transfer of the melody down into this left hand. So don't be hesitant to bring that out. He even writes marcato. So you resolve here and then bring that out. By the way, here's a little trick that I like to use, and this isn't discussed enough, I feel like, and I don't discuss